Hello and welcome back. Today, I want to talk about the discomfort that comes before growth. This is something that I have found happens time and again, and no matter how many times it has happened before, we will see the same pattern. We will resist discomfort every single time. And so the reason why this is important is because so many of us have big goals in mind, whether it's for students, staff, revenue, profitability, doing new programs, whatever. It is important that we recognize that when we want growth, that there will be an inevitable, mandatory period of discomfort that will come along with it. And when we resist that discomfort, we delay our own growth. So I'm going to give you an example. Several years ago, we decided midway through the year, probably about June or July, that we were going to increase revenue by $100,000 in my studio. And surely we experienced a level of discomfort. We cut programs that we were doing. We changed some people's schedules. We mushed around some of the titles and responsibilities of the people on my leadership team. And then there was a lot of discomfort in how we had to kind of shut down some ideas that people thought were great ideas. And that's because they didn't align with our plan that we had to get through this period of growth. Now, we stayed the course. We didn't know how things would land, but we knew that we had to try something different to fix our revenue. And through that process, we all grew. My staff, we grew. We grew the revenue, we grew as professionals, we grew as a team, and we grew in how we communicate with each other, how we make our processes, in the overall operations of our studio. And I don't think that we would have experienced that same level of growth had we not gone through the discomfort. Now, some of us are used to this discomfort, and we're scared of even getting to the point of experiencing discomfort. Never mind trying to avoid the discomfort once we're in it. Some of us are sitting on a feeling of fear of failure when in fact, what you're really butting up against is anticipating the discomfort that it will take for you to get your business or your personal life to the next place that you want it to be. You might have a fear of failure to make a major change in your competition team because you have a vision. And what you're saying is, I'm scared of failing, that people won't like this and that. But if you boil it down to the actual problem, it's that you're trying to avoid the discomfort. It's not the failing that you're afraid of, it's the discomfort, that emotions that just feel horrible, the emotions that feel uncertain. It is the discomfort that we are avoiding. You see, because if we failed, maybe no one would even know that we failed. If we failed, maybe if we don't make an announcement, if we don't do anything different, nobody would even know in some cases that we were making a change. But yet we're afraid to take action, to do the next step, to say the thing, to write the letter, to register for the course, or to hire the coach because we don't want the discomfort. For some of us, that discomfort is, I don't want to get a bookkeeper or an accountant because they're going to figure out that I'm a mess and I don't have things in order. And I'm going to have to spend time organizing my receipts, and I'm going to have to answer questions that maybe I don't even have the answer to. They're going to think I'm not with it, that I need more help than they can provide. We are avoiding the discomfort of someone finding out who we really are. But what if instead of avoiding this discomfort, we offer to our brains that the discomfort is a requirement for growth? However great the growth is that we are seeking, the larger the discomfort. If you want to make massive changes, expect that you will sit through a period of major discomfort. I really want to make this point really plain. Discomfort is not proof that something is wrong. Discomfort is often proof that you're doing something new, something honest, something that requires leadership. And in business, especially as a dance studio owner, growth usually asks you to do at least one of these things. Make a decision that not everyone will like. Hold a boundary you've avoided holding. Look directly at numbers you'd rather not look at. Change a system that you've been tolerating because it feels easier than fixing it. That's what discomfort usually is. It's the moment your old identity bumps into a new standard that you're trying to set. And here's what I want you to notice. A lot of us have been trained to interpret discomfort as danger. So we feel that tightness in our chest, that swirl of uncertainty, that urge to procrastinate, and we think it must be a bad idea. Or we think, I'm not ready, or we think, I need more time. But what actually is happening in your brain, it's trying to keep you in the familiar. The familiar might be stressful, but it's predictable. And predictable feels safer than change, even if change is exactly what you want. So here are three very practical signs that you're in the discomfort before growth and not that this is a mistake. So sign number one, you're doing something that you've never done before, whether it's raising prices, restructuring payroll, changing expectations for staff, implementing policies, saying no to something you used to say yes to. New things feel awkward at first, and this, it's normal. Sign number two, you're managing other people's emotions. Now, this one's huge. When you do something different, people will react. Not always because it's wrong, but because it's different. And leadership often means you stay steady while other people have feelings around you, while they have feelings about the thing. Sign three, you're tempted to backpedal for relief. You want to soften the message, to delay the deadline, make exceptions, or explain it 10 different ways so nobody is mad. That urge is the clearest clue that discomfort is present. And if you always obey that urge, you'll never get to the other side. My friends, I'm going to add something here. That temptation to backpedal for relief is so strong for entrepreneurs. When we decide to be an entrepreneur, that desire to, quote, just get a regular job with a regular paycheck so I don't have to deal with this anymore, that thought will come into your head time and again. And for some of us, that's the route we want to take. Yet for others, it's our brain trying to offer us something different, something that is an opportunity that on the surface seems like it's going to be easier. But many of us also know that working for someone else and being your own boss has a completely different trajectory for your life and your earning potential. So I want to give you a framework that you can use the next time discomfort shows up, because it will. So the first thing I want you to do is to name it. Literally say, this is the discomfort before growth. Go ahead and say it out loud. This is the discomfort before growth. This is the part that feels messy. This is the part that makes me doubt myself. That one sentence is powerful because it stops you from telling a bigger story like, I can't do this, or I'm failing, or this was a bad idea. Step two, decide what discomfort you're willing to feel. Now, this is where most people avoid the work because the truth is that growth has a cost, not a money cost, an emotional cost. So you got to decide ahead of time. Am I willing to feel misunderstood for a week? Am I willing to feel awkward while I train my team on a new system? Am I willing to feel exposed while I get my bookkeeping cleaned up? Am I willing to feel nervous before I send the email? You're going to choose this on purpose instead of being surprised by it. Choose what discomfort you're going to be willing to deal with. Now, step 3. Stay in action while you're uncomfortable. This is a growth skill. You don't need to feel confident to do the thing. You need to do the thing while you're uncomfortable because comfort is not a prerequisite. Action is what creates comfort later. So let's talk about an example here. It's pricing and tuition increases. The age-old question. The discomfort is not in the math. The discomfort is in imagining the reactions, the emails, the questions, the couple of people who might leave, the fear that you'll be judged. And if you avoid that discomfort, you delay revenue growth and you stay stuck trying to make numbers work with a price that isn't sustainable. Now, let's talk about staff expectations. Maybe you need to tighten punctuality, communication, sub coverage, curriculum consistency. The discomfort is holding the line and letting people be disappointed that you're no longer flexible about everything. But on the other side of that discomfort is a healthier culture. Discomfort could also be cutting a program or simplifying. The discomfort is saying no to an idea that sounds exciting but doesn't align. The discomfort is disappointing someone or letting go of something that you built. But on the other side is focus, profit, and less chaos. And there's a key distinction that will help you. There's the discomfort that comes with growth, and then there's buffering. The discomfort that comes with growth is I'm doing something new, it's stretching me, it feels uncertain, but it aligns with the future that I want. Now, buffering is I'm avoiding the thing, I'm spinning, I'm overthinking, I'm delaying, now I'm stressed and guilty on top of it. And I'll add to that. A lot of times with buffering, people start overeating. They start doing unhealthy habits. They start over drinking. They're spending all their time on social media doom scrolling. That's all buffering. A lot of people buffer because it feels like doing nothing is safer, but it's not. It just spreads the discomfort over the months. So if you're listening and you can feel that you're right on the edge of something, I want to ask you 2 questions. One, what is the growth that you want? Be specific. And then 2, what discomfort are you trying to avoid that is directly connected to that growth? Because the moment you identify the discomfort, you can stop calling it a fear of failure. You can see it for what it is. It's the price of admission. And I want to say something really clearly here because for women leaders, because this comes up a lot, many of us have been socialized to keep things smooth, keep people happy, be likable, don't rock the boat, don't take up too much space. So when we step into stronger leadership, it can feel like we're doing something wrong. But often, what really is happening is we're building tolerance for being seen as the leader, and that is growth. So here's a simple challenge to close this out. Pick one thing you've been putting off: an email, a decision, a conversation, an appointment, or a system that you've avoided setting up. And before you do it, tell yourself the truth. This will be uncomfortable. Then go do it. Not because you feel ready, but because you're willing to feel the discomfort that comes before life and business that you actually want. Discomfort is not the enemy. Avoiding it is what keeps you stuck. So when it shows up this week, label it, expect it, and move anyway. That is leadership. That is growth. And that's how you get to the next level. My friends, I hope this episode helped you. If it has, please share it with a friend. hit that share button, send the link to another studio owner who needs to hear this message right now. And until next time, I wish you the best.